Okay, let us start the topic compaction. So yesterday we have started about the compaction chapter. So here compaction is nothing but by applying the compressive load. By applying the compressive load on the soil, the volume of the soil is becoming decreasing. How? By expelling or compressing the air present in the soil. So that is called compaction. So the factors affecting compaction and what are the differences between the compaction and consolidation. Consolidation is also a process of decreasing the volume only. But here in this consolidation, what will happen? What is happening? The expulsion of water from the soil. Because of the expulsion of water from the soil, the volume is decreasing. Whereas the compaction means because of the expulsion of air, the volume is decreasing. Compaction is a very quick process, whereas consolidation is a very slow process. Compaction is very quick process. So this is yesterday the theory of compaction also we have discussed it. So in this we have determined the optimum moisture content, means it is the moisture content at which we will get the maximum dry density. 100% saturation line and 0% zero air void line are identical, ZAV line. 10% air void lines and 90% saturation line are not identical. That's what we have discussed yesterday. And today's class, let us see the standard Proctor test. So the compaction test of soil is carried out using Proctor's test to understand the compaction characteristics of different soils with change in the moisture content. By changing the moisture content, we need to conduct the Proctor test. Compaction of soils is the optimal moisture content at which a given soil type becomes most dense and achieve its maximum dry density by removal of air voids. Compaction of soil is the optimal moisture content at which, so we need to find out the optimal moisture content so that at which the given soil type becomes most dense. So compaction is the process of densification of soil. Compaction is the process of densification of soil by reducing air voids. The degree of compaction of a given soil is measured in terms of its dry density. The degree of compaction of a given soil is measured in terms of its dry density. The dry density is maximum at the optimum moisture content. The dry density is maximum at the optimum moisture content. Yesterday we have discussed. That is the theory behind the compaction procedure. A curve is drawn between the water content and the dry density to obtain the maximum dry density and the optimum water content. From that, we will get the dry density gamma D is equal to gamma M by V, means mass by volume is nothing but gamma by 1 plus W, density by 1 plus W, where M is the total mass of the soil, V is the volume of the soil, W is the water content. The equipment of Proctor's test for compaction of soil. So compaction mold capacity 1000 ml. And rammer mass 2.6 kg. This is the Indian standard compaction test. We can also call it as Indian standard compaction test. It is known as standard Proctor's test. So rammer mass 2.6 kg. Detachable base plate, collar 60 mm height, ISC 4.75 mm, oven, desiccator, weighing balance, accuracy 1 gram, large mixing pan, straight edge spatula, graduated jar, mixing tool, spoons, trowels, etc. These are the equipment required in the compaction test. Then what is the test procedure? Let us see the procedure. Take about 20 kg of air dried soil. Sieve it through 20 mm and 4.75 mm sieve. Calculate the percentage retained on 20 mm sieve and 4.75 mm sieve, and the percentage passing through 4.75 mm sieve. First, what we are doing, we are taking 20 kg of air dried soil and we are sieving it through 20 mm sieve and 4.75 mm sieve. 4.75 mmCu. Then next step is calculate the percentage retained on 20 mmCu and 4.75 mmCu, and how much percentage is passing through 4.75 mmCu. These things we are noting down. So if the percentage retained on 4.75 mmCu is greater than 20, use the large mold of 150 mm diameter. If it is less than 20%, then the standard mold of 100 mm diameter can be used. Standard diameter 100 mm can be used. The following procedure is for the standard mold. Mix the soil retained on 4.75 mmCu. Mix the soil retained on 4.75 mmCu and that passing 4.75 mmCu in proportions determined in step 2 to obtain 16 to 18 kg of soil specimen. Next, clean and dry the mold and the base plates. Grease them lightly. Weigh the mold with the base plate to the nearest 1 gram. Next, take about 16 to 18 kg. Take about 16 to 18 kg of soil specimen. Add water to it to bring the water content to about 4% if the soil is sandy, and to about 8% if the soil is clay. If the soil is sandy soil, bring the water content such that, add the water content such that 4%. If the soil is sandy soil, add 4% water content. If the soil is clay soil, add 8% water content. Keep the soil in airtight container for about 18 to 20 hours for maturing. Mix the soil thoroughly. Divide the processed soil into 6 to 8 parts. Attach the collar to the mold. Place the mold on a solid base. Take about 2.6 kg of the processed soil, 2.5 kg of the processed soil, and hence place it in the mold in 3 equal layers. Take about 1/3 of the quantity first and compact it by giving 25 number of blows with the rammer. The blows should be uniformly distributed over the surface of each layer. The blows should be uniformly distributed over the surface of each layer. How many number of blows? 25 number of blows we need to apply. 25 number of blows we need to apply. The top surface of the first layer be scratched with the spatula before placing the second layer. The second layer should also be again compacted by 25 blows of rammer. Likewise, place the third layer and compact it. The amount of the soil used should be just sufficient to fill the mold and leaving about 5 mm above the top of the mold to be struck off when the collar is removed. Remove the collar and trim off the excess soil projecting above the mold is using a straight edge. Clean the base plate and the mold from outside. Weigh it to the nearest grams. Remove the soil from the mold. The soil may also be ejected out. Take the soil samples for the water content determination from the top, middle and bottom portions. Determine the water content. Add about 3% of the water to a fresh portion of the processed soil and repeat the steps 10 to 14 again. We need to arrange it in 3 layers. Each layer should be rammered. Number of blows, 25 number of blows should be done with the help of the rammer, which is approximately 2.6 kg rammer. Then after that, again one more layer, again same procedure. Like that, we repeat the procedure and take out the soil from that, and again find out the water content, and then again add 3% of the water for the next step. Like this, we need to repeat it 3 times. So this is the collar, 60 mm height. So this is the mold. This is the mold, 100 mm dia mold, generally 100 mm dia mold and 127.3 mm height. In this, we need to take the soil sample. 100 mm dia mold and 127.3 mm height. This is the volume of the mold. So nothing but the volume of the soil, because these are the internal diameter. Internal diameter is 100 mm and internal height is 127.3 mm height. For the, we need to take the soil completely in this mold. So the volume of the soil we are taking means 5/4 into 100 square into 127.3 mm. 5/4 into 100 square into 127.3. So this is the rammer. This is the rammer dimensions. Weight is approximately 2.6 kg. So diameter of the mold 100 mm, height of the mold 127.3 mm, volume of the mold 5/4 d square into h. Specific gravity of solids, that we know that solids. Then we need to find out this mass of the empty mold with base plate, mass of the mold, compacted soil and base plate. Then mass of this compacted soil, m is equal to 2 minus 1. 2 minus 1. So we will get the mass. So then bulk density will get mass by volume. Volume already we calculated. So mass by volume, nothing but the bulk density. Then water content we are determining. So after that, then the dry density rho d is equal to gamma d is equal to gamma by 1 plus W. So we can get the dry density. For the corresponding water content, this much dry density we are getting. Repeat this procedure for 3 times. Then draw the plot. Plot the curve between the water content as abscissa, and dry density as ordinate. Dry density as ordinate and water content as abscissa. So conduct the and then draw the graph. So the graph will be like this. The graph will be like this. From this, at which water content the maximum dry density is attains. So 1.85. The dry density is slowly increasing and reaches 1.85 and then again decreasing. So at that maximum dry density, what will be the water content? That will be the optimum moisture content, OMC. Optimum moisture content, OMC. So from the Proctor soil compaction test, we will get the maximum dry density and the corresponding water content, which is known as optimum moisture content. So this is the standard Proctor test, or we can, it is also known as IS compaction test. IS compaction test means Indian Standard Compaction Test. Indian Standard Compaction Test. Now let us, there is another test is also there, that is known as Modified Compaction Test or Modified Proctor Test. Standard Proctor Test or Modified Proctor Test. So the Modified Proctor Test is generally heavy compaction test. That's why it is known as Indian Standard Heavy Compaction Test. This is Indian Standard Light Compaction Test. So the similarities between these, the comparison between these two tests. This IS Standard Light Compaction Test is generally conducted for highways, embankments, and canal banks, whereas Heavy Compaction Test is generally conducted for modern express highways, runways. Means wherever there is more compaction is required, generally we will go for the heavy compaction test. That's why expressways and runways will go for the heavy compaction test. So the differences is only the weight, the rammer weight is different and number of blows same, or falling height is different, the impact is different. So here rammer weight how much here? 2.6 kg. So 2.6 kg. Here rammer means nothing but 26 newtons, whereas here 49 newtons. Whereas the falling height in the standard compaction test is from the 310 height, from 310 mm we need to fall that rammer, so that the soil will be compact. The soil in the mold is compacted. So when we fall that rammer from the 310 mm height, so like that we need to each time when we drop the rammer, that is nothing but one blow. Like that we will conduct 25 number of blows for each layer. So that is the rammer falling height is here 310 mm, whereas here falling height is 450 mm. Rammer falling height is 450 mm. Number of blows same, 25. Here also 25. Mold capacity 1 liter. Here also 1 liter same. Number of layers here 3, whereas here number of layers are 5. That is one more difference between the light compaction test and heavy compaction test. The number of layers are 3. Here also number of layers 5. Number of blows same, 25. And rammer weight is different, 26 newtons, here 49 newtons. And falling height here 310 mm, here falling height is here 450 mm. And the diameter of the mold we are not changing, same 100 mm. The mold dimensions are same, 100 mm diameter and 127.3 mm height. Only the thing is rammer weight we are changing from 26 newtons to 49 newtons, and the falling height also we are changing 310 mm to 450 mm. And the number of layers are 3 in the light compaction test, and the number of layers are 5 in the heavy compaction test. So this is SPT, means Standard Proctor Test, whereas this is MPT, means Modified Proctor Test. Standard Proctor Test, Modified Proctor Test. If 150 mm diameter mold capacity 2.25 liters is used, the number of blows in each layer is 56 for SPT and MPT. If the mold dimensions are 100 mm or 150 mm, if we take 100 mm, the number of blows are 25 in both the tests. If the mold diameter is 150 mm, then the number of blows are 56 in this test and this test also. Light compaction test and heavy compaction test, the number of blows should be increased to 56. If it is 100 mm diameter is standard, actually 100 mm diameter is standard. If that is standard 100 mm diameter mold, then the number of blows should be 25. If it is 150 mm, then number of blows should be increased to 56. Proctor needle or plasticity needle. This is also used to find the in situ water content and dry density. Proctor needle and in situ needle or plasticity needle is also, this is the in situ test to determine the water content and dry density. It is punched by 7.5 centimeters into the soil to know the penetration resistance. Thereby the placement, water content and dry density are obtained from the calibration curve. So this is not there in, this is not in our syllabus. Only the standard modified, I mean IS standard compaction test is there in the syllabus. That is standard Proctor test. Modified Proctor test means everything is test to test procedure, everything is same. Only the thing is number of blows also same. Only the thing is the rammer weight is different. Different rammer means we should take the heavy rammer, 49 newtons. Whereas here 26 newtons, standard compaction test. And then free fall also we should increase so that the impact should be more. The heavy compaction is required. So that's why here in the standard compaction test 310 mm, whereas here in the heavy compaction test 450 mm. Now relative compaction, it is another word, an important word. Relative compaction is equal to dry density in the field, by maximum dry density which is determined in the laboratory into 100. Relative compaction is, it is the ratio, that is the ratio between the dry density in the field divided by maximum dry density in the laboratory into 100. Usually it is 90 to 100% relative compaction can be obtained. Usually it is 90 to 100% relative compaction can be obtained. Now this is the percentage of bulking and water content. This is the OMC. So the percentage of bulking is V1 minus V2 by V2 into 100. Now compaction of sandy soils. So sands do not have well-defined OMC. Do not have well-defined OMC. So the dry density, if you plot the curve, the dry density as ordinate and water content as abscissa, and dry density as ordinate. The curve will be like this. So sands do not have any well-defined OMC, well-defined optimal moisture content. The capillary tension resists the tendency of soil particles to take a dense state and volume increases. Bulking of sand is the phenomena of increase in volume. Bulking of sand is the phenomena of increase in volume due to capillary tension between the water molecules around the soil particles. For sands, compaction curve is of little practical importance. For sand, compaction curve is of little practical importance. For sandy soils, the relative density is used as a criteria for the level of the compaction achieved. For the sandy soils, the relative density is used as a criteria for the level of compaction achieved. So here this is the air dry condition P. Here this is the point of minimum density. Again it increases. So here or here or here, where is the maximum density point? That we cannot measure accurately. That's why sands do not have well-defined OMC. Sands do not have well-defined OMC. Now, next, in situ or field compaction. In situ for field compaction. Granular soils can be adequately compacted. In thick layers than fine-grained soils and clays. Granular soils can be adequately compacted in thick layers than fine-grained soils and clays. For a given soil type, heavy compaction equipment is capable of compacting thick layers than light compaction equipment. Suppose cohesive soils compaction, how the compaction is done for cohesive soil means tamping, kneading and impact principle are effective. Whereas for cohesionless soils, tamping, kneading and vibration principle are effective. Vibration is more effective. Then primary types of compaction equipment. Primary types of compaction equipment are rollers, rammers, and vibrators. The primary types of compaction equipment are, these are the various compaction equipment: rollers, rammers, and vibrators. Rollers. Let us see the rollers. Smooth wheel rollers. This is one type of roller. You can see the how it will be in the figure. So this is a smooth wheel roller. It is used for compacting gravel. It is used for compacting gravel in WBM road. WBM means water-bound macadam road construction. In that road construction, the smooth wheel roller is used for compacting gravel. It imparts static compaction to the soil. It imparts static compaction to the soil. Compaction pressure is low because of large contact area. This much large contact area, that's why compaction pressure is low. It is suitable for compacting granular base courses, that's why gravel, granular base courses, and the paving mixtures for highway construction. 8 passes are required to achieve the equivalent standard factor compaction. 8 passes are required to achieve the equivalent standard factor compaction. Try to provide smooth surface at the end of the day's work, and to quickly drain off rainwater. That's why this is used in the road construction. To provide smooth surface at the end of the day's work and to quickly drain off rainwater. So this is a very important point in the road construction point. We need to drain off the rainwater very quickly so that to avoid the skidding on the roads. This is a very important point. So that's why in the road construction, to compact the gravel, so the smooth wheel rollers are used. Next one, pneumatic tired rollers. Figure you can see here. It is used for compacting causing of earth dam. In case of earth dam, it is used for compacting casing of earth dam. Compaction is done by kneading action. Oval wheel exerts steady pressure on uneven ground. You can see that figure. These tires exerts steady pressure on uneven ground. It is suitable for all types of soils. Whether it is cohesive or non-cohesive. Most suitable for wet cohesive soil. So this is the pneumatic tire rollers. Another one is sheep foot rollers. You can see this is the sheep foot rollers. So it is used for compacting the core of earth dam. Construction. Compaction is achieved by a combination of tamping and kneading. It is suitable for cohesive soils, clayey soils only. Sheep foot rollers is a very important point. Sheep foot rollers are suitable for clayey soils only. Whereas smooth wheel rollers are suitable for gravel construction, compact the gravels. Whereas pneumatic type tired rollers are suitable for both gravel means cohesive and non-cohesive soils. Whereas sheep foot rollers are suitable for only cohesive soils, that too place only. It is unsuitable for granular soils as the sand tend to loosen this continuously. Sheep foot rollers are not at all suitable for the non-cohesive soils. It is suitable for cohesive soils, that too for place only. Next, grid rollers. You can see in the figure, this is the grid roller. Suitable for all types of soils, including wet clays and silts. Grid rollers are suitable for all types of soils, including wet clays and silts. Next, rammers. After rollers, next one, rammers. Dropping type rammer, pneumatic type rammer, and internal commission type rammer. So first, rammers are used for cohesionless soils. It is used in confined areas, that is beds of drainage trenches, backfills of bridge abutments, etc. Next, tampers. Tamping can be done manually. Manual compaction using tampers. Used for soils of inaccessible areas, trenches behind retaining walls. Where there is the soil is inaccessible, such type of the soils can be suitable for this tamping. So next, vibrators. Used for compacting sandy soils. Vibrators are especially useful for compacting the sandy soils. again there are various types of vibrators are there. First one is vibrating drum. These smooth drums, sheep foot drums may be used layer of soil of the order 1 meter could be compacted. Next, vibratory pneumatic type. Vibratory pneumatic type. 300 mm thick granular soil will be compacted satisfactorily using the vibratory pneumatic type. Next, vibrating plates. Vibrating plates. Compacting granular base courses. Compacting granular base courses. Next, vibro float. Vibro flotation. It is a method suitable for compacting thick deposits of loose sandy soil. Vibro flotation. It is a method suitable for compacting the thick deposits of loose sandy soils. Vibro flotation method first compacts deep zone. In the soil and then works it away towards the surface. Works it away from the deep zone to surface. So this is the compaction of compaction equipment. These are the equipment generally used for the compaction. What are the compaction equipment generally? Rollers, rammers, and vibrators. Rollers, rammers, and vibrators. Rollers are smooth wheel rollers, pneumatic tired rollers, and then sheep foot rollers, and then grid rollers. Rammers, dropping type, pneumatic type, internal combustion type. Next, dampers. Next one, vibrators. Vibrators are vibrating drum, vibratory pneumatic type, vibrating plates, vibroflow. These are the various vibrators are there. So generally vibrators are used for compacting the sandy soils only. Vibrators are generally used to compact the sandy soils only. So I think under the compaction, let us see the syllabus. Theory of compaction, behind that we have discussed about that. Compaction and its objectives, factors affecting the compaction, laboratory compaction test, Proctor's compaction test we have discussed, modified Proctor compaction test also we have discussed, methods of compaction used in the field, field measurement of dry density by core cutter method and sand replacement method. Field measurement of dry density by using the core cutter method and sand replacement method we will discuss in the next class. Today let us discuss some numericals. Next class we will discuss the field measurement of dry density by using the core cutter method and sand replacement method. So let us discuss some numerical problems. Void ratio of granular soil deposit. Void ratio of granular soil deposit is 0.6. The maximum and minimum void ratios of the soil were found to be 0.8 and 0.4 respectively. The relative density and relative compaction respectively are. So, in the natural state, the void ratio of granular soil deposit is 0.6. E is the 0.6. E max is 0.8 and E min is 0.4. E minimum is 0.4. Minimum is 0.4. So the density index, relative density or density index both are same. That is equal to E max minus E min by E max minus E by E max minus E minimum. So that is equal to 0.8 minus 0.6 by 0.8 minus 0.4. This is 0.8 minus 0.4. So that is equal to 0.5. That is nothing but 50%. So the relative density is 50%. Next, relative compaction. Relative compaction, what is the definition of relative compaction? Gamma D, the dry density obtained in the field by gamma D max. Gamma D max. So here gamma D is equal to G gamma W by 1 plus E. Means gamma D is directly inversely proportional to 1 plus C. Gamma D is inversely proportional to 1 plus C. So gamma D field is equal to 1 plus E 0.4 by gamma D max 1 plus 0.6, that is into 100. So 1.4 by 1.6 into 100. So 86%. The relative density is generally, relative compaction is 86%. 86%. Yeah, let us see. A standard Proctor compaction test. A standard Proctor compaction test was performed on a clayey soil. The test results are as shown in below. The test results are as shown in table below. Water content is 2%, 4%, 6%, 8% like this. And gamma D value is 17, 18.1, 18.4, 19. Then again you see here decreasing value 18.6, 18.2, 17.9, 16.8. So specific gravity of soil solids is 2.7. Assuming the variation between the points in graphs is linear, degree of saturation at the optimum moisture content is dash. Degree of saturation at the optimum moisture content is dash. So here you see at which water content we got the maximum dry density attains at 8. At 8 we got the 19. Then again the value is decreasing. So 19 is the maximum dry density attains at the water content 8%. That's why OMC is equal to 8%. OMC is equal to 8%. So gamma D max is equal to 19 kilonewton per meter cube. Gamma D max is equal to 19 kilonewton per meter cube. So gamma D is equal to, we know, G gamma W by 1 plus E. G gamma W by 1 plus E. From that you calculate the E value. From that you calculate the E value. That is 0.421. E value 0.421. So if we know that E is equal to Wg by SR. E is equal to Wg by SR. So S is equal to Wg by E. S is equal to Wg by E. So W 0.08 into G 2.7 by E is 0.421. So we got SR is 51.3%. SR is 51.3%. So degree of saturation at the optimum moisture content is only 51.3%. Second question. If the relative compaction of the soil is to be achieved at 90% in the field, then the dry unit weight of the soil in the field is, relative compaction is 90%. So what is the formula for relative compaction? Gamma D in the field by gamma D max. Gamma D in the field by gamma D max. So that is equal to 0.9 into 19. That is equal to 17.1 kilonewton per meter cube. So in the field we can attain the dry density is only 17.1 kilonewton per meter cube. Next question. If the moisture content is raised to 15%, if the moisture content is raised to 15% in the field, the unit weight of the soil is dash. The unit weight of the soil is dash. So gamma is equal to gamma D into 1 plus W. Gamma D, how much we got it in the field? 17.1. So 17.1 into 1 plus 0.15. 17.1 into 1 plus 0.15. So we will get the 19.66 kilonewton per meter cube. 19.66 kilonewton per meter cube. So this is a standard Proctor compaction test problem. Water content versus the dry density is given. What is asking is degree of saturation. What is the degree of saturation when at the optimum moisture content is asking. So for that we are finding out the optimum moisture content and gamma D max. That is from the data given data. Gamma D max is 19, and that is achieved at the water content 8%. So the OMC is 8%. So gamma D max is the formula we know. Gamma D is equal to G gamma W by 1 plus E. So from this, you substitute 19 is equal to 2.7 into 10 by 1 plus E. So from this, E is equal to, we got 0.421. So once we get the wide ratio, E is equal to the formula is there, S is equal to Wg by E. W is 8%, so 0.08 into G is 2.7. G is 2.7 by E. E is 0.421. Then we will get the degree of saturation 0.513, that is equal to 51.3%. 51.3%. So let us see another problem. An embankment is to be constructed. An embankment is to be constructed by compacting the layers of 300 mm thick. The rammer is used for compaction, has foot area 0.04 meters square. The energy induced per drop of hammer is 500 Newton mm. Assuming 50% more energy in each pass over compact area due to overlap. The number of passes required to develop compact energy as per IS light compaction is dash. Energy imparted as per IS light compaction. First we will see that. So that is equal to how much? 26 newtons. 26 newtons. 310 mm. 310 mm the free fall. The free fall is 310 mm. So 0.31 and 3 layers. We need to arrange it 3 layers. So into 3. Each layer 25 blows. Each layer 25 blows. So total energy imparted as per IS light compaction test is 26 newtons. That is the weight of the rammer. 310 mm is the free fall height. So that is 0.31. 3 layers. That's why into 3. In each layer 25 blows. So into 25. So total how much energy is imparted? 604.5. 604.5 Newton meter per meter cube. Newton meter per meter. Energy imparted on soil layers. Energy imparted on soil layers. How much here you see? 500 energy induced per drop of hammer is 500 Newton mm. So 500 into 10 power minus 3. 500 10 power minus 3 Newton meter. Newton meter. And the volume is how much? Foot area 0.04 is there. Foot area 0.04 is there. And of 300 mm thick. So 0.04 into 0.3. 0.04 into 0.3. How much it is now? 41.67 Newton meter per meter cube. 41.67 Newton meter per meter cube. In each pass over the length, the energy is supplied is 50% more than the energy due to the rammer on account of layers. So 1.5 into in this 50% more. So 1.5 into 41.67 into how many number of passes, that's what we have to find out. So n, that is equal to IS light compaction number 604.5 is equal to 604.5. So n is equal to 9.6, means we need to do it in 10 passes. 10 passes are required. So these are the numericals on the compaction chapter. The compaction chapter. Tomorrow we will discuss about the dry density, how to determine the dry density in the field by using, there are two methods are there, core cutter method and sand replacement method. Sand replacement method we will discuss in the next class. So let us revise what we have discussed in the compaction. Compaction of soil. What is the definition of the compaction? Why it is important? And then what is the difference between compaction and consolidation? And then the theory behind the compaction procedure. Theory behind the compaction procedure. This is the graph. You will get it. So at one particular water content, we achieve the maximum dry density. That is known as maximum dry density, and that corresponding water content is known as optimum moisture content. The water content less than the optimum moisture content this side is known as dry side, and the water content which is greater than the moisture content, which is known as wet side. Which is known as wet side. This is the compaction effort. When the compaction effort is in, so this is generally normal, let us say, and this is the higher compaction curve. This is the lower compaction curve. So when the compaction effort is increased, what will happen? Dry density will be increases, but water content or moisture content is decreases. When the compaction effort is decreases, what will happen? Dry density is decreases, maximum dry density is decreases, but moisture content is increases. Then zero air void line or 100% saturation line. It is a plot between the dry unit weight and the water content. corresponding to degree of saturation of 100%. It is a plot between the dry unit weight and water content corresponding to the degree of saturation of 100%, degree of saturation of 100%, or zero air voids. This is plotted along with the compaction curve. This is plotted along with the compaction curve. So next, Indian standard Proctor test we have discussed. So then we discussed about the comparison between the standard Proctor test and modified Proctor test. Standard Proctor test and modified Proctor test. Standard Proctor test is known as Indian standard light compaction test. Modified Proctor test is known as Indian standard heavy compaction test. In both the things, the similarities are the mold is same. Mold is 100 mm diameter and 127.3 mm height, and the diameter of the mold is same 100 mm. Height is also 127.3, 127 means mold is same. Mold capacity is here 1 liter or means 1000 centimeter cube. Here also 1 liter or 1000 ml. And the differences is here rammer weight is 26 newtons, whereas here rammer weight is 49 newtons. Falling height here 310 mm, here 450 mm. And the number of blows same 25. If at all, if we use 150 mm diameter mold, means capacity 2.25 liters. Capacity is 2.25 liters. Then the number of blows in each layer is 56 for both SPT and MPT. SPT means standard Proctor test. MPT means modified Proctor test. Then factors affecting compaction. Water content, obviously. Then amount of compaction, type of soil, then method of compaction, admixtures, placement of water contents. These are the factors affecting the compaction. Next, relative compaction. Relative compaction is the ratio of dry density in the field by maximum dry density obtained in the laboratory. So generally it will be 90 to 100% relative compaction can be obtained. Compaction for cohesionless soils. The compaction curve is not well defined. So the sands do not have the well defined OMC, optimum moisture content, because of the capillary tension and bulking of sand. So for sandy soils, the relative density is used as a criteria. For sandy soils, the relative density is used as a criteria for the level of compaction is achieved instead of relative compaction. We will go for relative density. For sandy soils, the relative density, this is important point. For sandy soils, the relative density is used as a criteria for the level of compaction achieved. Then these are the equipment to do the compaction. Are mainly three types of equipment: rollers, rammers, and vibrators. Then we have discussed the rollers are smooth wheel rollers, pneumatic type rollers, sheep foot rollers, grid rollers, and then rammers, dropping type, pneumatic type, and internal commission type. So then next one, last dampers. Then last one is vibrators. Vibrators are vibrating drum, vibratory pneumatic type, vibrating plates, then vibroflow. These are the various vibrators. Then we have solved some number of problems also. This is the standard tractor test. This is the mold, 100 mm dia, 127.3 mm. This is the collar. We need to attach this collar. After filling the soil into this, we need to attach the collar and then keep using the rammer. We need to drop the rammer for 310 mm height. The drop of 310 mm. So if the percentage retained on 4.75 mm CV is greater than 20, use the large mold of 150 mm diameter. But if it is less than 20%, the standard mold of 100 mm diameter can be used. Generally, we will use the standard mold of 100 mm diameter only and we use in the laboratory. So let us stop here. Next class we will discuss about the dry density determination in the field by using the core cutter method and sand replacement method.